The college football experience, Alabama Crimson Tide 2025 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com with the promo code TCESGPN. Do that, and remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome to the college football experience, Alabama Crimson Tide 2025 season preview episode. Roll Tide! Roll Tide! Oh, man, I got a shirt that I've had. I forgot to put it on for the episode. It's sitting over here. Alabama t-shirt. So just think about me in an Alabama t-shirt. You wouldn't see that much. But I've had it there. YouTube.com/the college experience. We've been rattling off episodes. All right. Go check out the Texas preview, San Jose State preview we just dropped. We are breaking down all 136 teams. If I can speak correctly, it'd be fantastic. And I'm excited to talk Alabama because, I mean, this is one that obviously a lot of controversy a season ago about them making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. And now you have a lot of some year two heat on a coach that's been phenomenal in his tenure, really anywhere he's been. So excited to talk all about it. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swing at Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
Damn right. Give me. Look, I mean, what better time of season than the preseason, where everybody's got high hopes. No death threats have came in on the upcoming year yet. I'm sure he might have got some last season. This is the place. Didn't one of their fans poison all these trees? And it was at Auburn. I always get it confused.
Alabama poisoned the Auburn tree.
Yeah. I mean, it truly means more. Truly means more. Let's go. Look, I mean, I honestly think this is one of the more fascinating storylines coming into this college football season. So excited to talk about it. I am joined by my co-host. You've heard him on the College Basketball Experience podcast, where we go live every single night of the season, much like we do with football. Give it up for former staffer at Austin Peay with the Governors, at South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and at West Virginia with the Mountaineers, Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Mudhead Mac. How are you, buddy?
What is up, man? I don't care about nothing but the Tide, baby. Let's talk about Alabama.
Mac tonight! Come on, make it Mac tonight!
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting right now. Like, I mean, you're kind of in this, first off, they've been killing it on the recruiting trail the past like 48 hours or 72 hours, which I think was needed. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's an interesting time. I'll put it like that. We have our state of the program that we do. And I think it's interesting because you've had such great success historically. Obviously, Nick Saban's run. And then Kalen DeBoer walks in and goes 9-3, and everyone's pissed at him. How hot is it, you think, in Tuscaloosa right now?
I don't think it's hot yet. It's getting close to being a discussion. If he goes 9-3 again and they miss the playoff a second straight year, then it's going to be hot in year three. Especially with the expanded college football playoff. It's not like he's missing the 4-team Invitational that we like to call it. I mean, there's 12 teams, and the SEC gets every break possible.
Not last year, apparently.
Well, they didn't deserve to be in.
I agree. But don't tell these Bama fans. All right, I don't want them poisoning my fucking trees. I have some nice trees outside the house.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, Alabama fans. Don't get blown out by a bad Oklahoma team or lose to Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt, and you're in. All you got to do is win one of those, and you're in.
If you could poison my weeds, I'd appreciate that. I have some weeds that I haven't gone out and bought a weed whacker. And look, just don't poison my fucking trees, all right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about it. Slideshow recommended as opposed to audio. But if you're listening on this audio, that's fine. But the visual presentation, I do believe, is a lot better. Yeah. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Remember, we're breaking down all 136 teams in the land. Kalen DeBoer, let's talk about it because it's hard to fire a guy that's 113-16 all time as a head coach. But sure enough, 11-2 in 2022 at Washington, 14-1 in 2023 at Washington, where he played in the national championship, 9-4 last season with, the bowl loss, I think leaves a terrible taste in the mouths of Alabama fans. Michigan's B team, basically beaches. Reminds me of like the Scabs season in 1987 in the NFL when the Redskins picked up a team off the street and beat the Dallas Cowboys with the all their guys had crossed the picket line there, so playing like Danny White and shit.
Yeah.
And the Redskins with Ed Rupert and stuff. Go watch that game, folks. That's just a phenomenal game. They took a team off the street and beat a real NFL team. So, but anyway, what'd you make of the bowl game? And I know you kind of already hit on this. I still think the guy's a great football coach, so I'm not going to panic.
I'm not going to panic either. I actually think that they're in a better spot than I think people are giving them credit for. Yeah, they had a couple clunkers in year number one. The Michigan game was just bizarre. I thought they were going to blow Michigan out, and they got drilled right from the opening kick, to be honest. Michigan controlled that game, and then just the way that it ended, losing at Oklahoma the way they did, I think they were ready for a change at the quarterback position headed into this next year. But I trust DeBoer, just like you. He was great at Washington, and he was great at Fresno. Sioux Falls, 67-3.
Woo! Of course I bring up Sioux Falls. Shout out to Seafood Fancier in the chat. Good day, guys. Watching on my phone from a pub in Australia. That is what it just means more, Mac. It just means more. One of the things, I appreciate you, Seafood, and one of the things I've learned is I've had some fans in Australia come out to LA and actually hang out with us in the studio. And the NFL, how NFL's on Sunday here, they get college football Sundays. NFL's on Monday there, so no one watches the NFL in Australia. I mean, I think hilarious. A little bit.
Yeah.
They get Monday Night Footballs all their games. So college football, they load up on college football on Sundays. It's fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, shout out anyone. Put it up on the screen at the bar. Talk to your bartender there. Slip him an extra $5. Just tell him do a solid out there. But yes, Kaleb DeBoer. I'm not going to panic. I think the guy's a really good coach. The offense. Now, this is something I think notable here. So last season, Jalen Milroe. I really liked Jalen Milroe's game. He was like a real football player at quarterback, which is rare these days, believe it or not. So I was a huge fan. Right? Absolutely huge fan of Jalen Milroe. But I also think DeBoer had been with such drop back passers. Remember, Penix was with him at Indiana, right? At Fresno, he had Jake Haener, right? So he hadn't had the guy that's kind of a run first option. So I think that led to some of the discomfort on offense, but even more so was he didn't have Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb's been by his side for a while now. All right. Ryan Grubb went to we thought he was going to Alabama. He went for a day or two, then bounced to the Seattle Seahawks for the offensive coordinating job. Now he's back. And I think we should not underestimate how important it is to get Ryan Grubb back. But they were a year ago, 22nd in scoring offense, 56th in passing offense, 47th in rush offense, charting at number 42 offense in America. You surprised by those numbers?
I thought not really, just because they, like I said, they lack consistency. I felt like they struggled to move the ball against Tennessee, Oklahoma. And I just felt like Milroe, I love Milroe as well. I thought he's a gamer. I thought he tough as shit, but he just was so limited sometimes as a passer, and I didn't think he was the best fit for DeBoer's system. So yeah, getting Grubb back is huge because he was awesome at Washington with DeBoer.
Yeah, and like, look, if I had Milroe would have been great in he's a great football player, but they didn't utilize his strengths as much as I thought they could have.
Yep.
And that is on coaching. So to be fair, but it's also not his style. So you're going to stick to your style. You only have Milroe for 1 year. You might as well stick to your style and just say, hey, let's see where we end up. Ty Simpson, I think, will be the starting quarterback. They also have Austin Mack, but I think it's going to be Ty Simpson here. I feel like he's a veteran now with the program, despite never throwing a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I've just heard his name around Alabama for so long now, and I feel like this guy played with fucking Sean Alexander, the running back. Okay, you got him, and obviously Jam Miller back at the running back spot. He's a beast. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards in his college career and 12 touchdowns. And obviously the wide receiver, maybe the best in the country. I think him and Jeremiah Smith are dueling for that. Ryan Williams. On the cover of EA Sports' college football game, 865 yards, 8 touchdowns in his freshman season. So they return all of them, but remember, the quarterback spot is vacant as far as a starter from a season ago. So the only returning starters are Jan Miller, Ryan Williams, Germie Bernard, the Washington transfer wide receiver, Caden Proctor. This guy kind of bothers me just because he went to Iowa for like 2 weeks and then transferred back. So he originally commits to Iowa because he's from Iowa.
Yeah.
Then he flips to Bama, plays his freshman season at Bama, then transfers to Iowa, is at Iowa for a month in December, then transfers back to Alabama. I know the guy's a 5-star, but holy shit. I mean,
make up your mind.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Right guard
25.
Yeah. Good God. Right guard Jaden Roberts back, and same with center Parker Brailsford. The offense just under Grubb. I'm just going to trust. And look, they went out in the portal. They brought in Draylon Washington from Louisiana. He was a good back with the Raging Cajuns. Isaiah Horton, a wide receiver with Miami. Tight end Brody Dalton from Troy. Tight end Jack Samarco, whatever the fuck his name is, from West Virginia. Tight end Peter Knudsen from Weber State. Go deep sea diving. Offensive lineman Cam Dewberry from Texas A&M. Offensive tackle Jaden Hobson from South Alabama, the Jags. Offensive tackle Arkel Anugwam from Ball State. Man, it's interesting. I feel like you've seen Bama use the portal often, bringing Jahmyr Gibbs, bringing a slew of other guys that we've seen work out there, but you rarely see them go to Weber State and Ball State and stuff. So scout team going deep sea diving on film, but I'm going to say the offense will be a lot better. Just the fact that you have Ryan Grubb, and it is the second year for Ty Simpson / Austin Mack in this offense. And I think they're more traditional passers, which I think fits what Kalen DeBoer has been successful at on the FBS level. So, what do you think? You think the offense will chart better than a season ago?
Yeah, I do. I think that back to everything we said with Milroe, like Ryan Williams is a flat out stud, and I think he's going to.
Bernard's a beast too, dude.
Yeah, Bernard's a beast, and Horton was good at Miami, so adding him to that receiving core, I think that in this offense, now that you get more of a traditional passer, I think all their production is going to go up, and obviously Miller at the running back position, getting him back, and then some continuity on that offensive line. But I do think that they're going to take a jump. They took a jump year 2 of Washington as well, and year 2 at Fresno. Year 2 has been kind to DeBoer.
Can I say this though? I am interested to see the quarterback position because he took a big jump at Washington, but that was Michael Penix's like 4th year in a DeBoer system because he was at Indiana. And Haener, I believe, because DeBoer was the OC at Fresno with Tedford prior to being the head coach. So he reunited there. So it's a strange situation where like these quarterbacks has had a ton of experience in DeBoer's system. Simpson's in year 2, Max in year 3, I believe, of the system. So it'll be interesting to watch that because we've never seen them start games under him. So that might be a benefit to his resume of why he was such a hot coaching commodity. Is he kind of, I don't want to say caught lightning in a bottle because I believe he's a good football coach, but I also think he was very fortunate to go to spots where he was able to stay with experienced quarterbacks that had been with him previously. So, anyway, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. But before we do that, I want to let you know you are listening to the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Look, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network releases all of SGPN's work. Every single episode we do as a network. That's a shit ton of podcasts. CFL Gambling Podcast, MLB Gambling Podcast, College Football Experience, College Baseball Experience, College Basketball Experience, Sports Gambling Podcast, Bottom Line Bombs of CJ Sullivan. All these shows are coming out on the SGPN feed. So subscribe to that. Get it wherever you get podcasts. And remember, as always, to let it ride. We're also brought to you by Circa Millions and Circa Survivor. Think you know ball? Then you have a chance to enter Circa's football contest with $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There is no rake, so if entries go above the guarantee, all extra money will go to the prize pool. Circa Millions, you pick 5 teams against the spread each week, or go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. There's even a Circa Grandissimo for $100,000 Survivor contest. You must register in person at Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. What a great excuse to go to Vegas, to the world's biggest sportsbook, Stadium Swim. I'll be there in 10 days. All right, sign up in Nevada. Play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use the promo code SGP to get $50 off those proxy fees. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Yes, MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the MLB, CFL, WNBA, and golf going on right now. Tennis as well. Don't sleep on tennis. And, of course, college football futures, NFL futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations, too. Even outside of the States, you can easily deposit, get lightning-fast payouts using crypto. So head on over to mybookie.ag. But when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply, of course. That's mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back. Let's jump into this. The defense, man. Kane Womack's second year. Remember, he came over from sitting head coach at South Alabama, was having success. And he said, I'm going to take a coordinating position. And then part of his staff was Maurice Lindquist, who was a head coach at Buffalo. He said, fuck it, I'm going to go be a positions coach. Fascinating, right? Alabama scoring defense this season go 10th in the nation, 19th in pass defense, 48th in rush defense, 21st in total defense. This is where I actually get really excited because I think you look back at the Alabama offense. It wasn't all Jameer Gibbs. It wasn't all Jalen Milroe. It was, because the O-line I thought had a down season.
Yeah.
And I think you can kind of say the D-line might have been a little bit of an issue. I remember that Vanderbilt game, and I feel like Vanderbilt was just pushing them around on the line of scrimmage. I think this year it's going to be a lot better. They return defensive tackle Tim Keenan III. They have some big-time recruits, a couple transfers that have came in from previous years. Their linebacking core is back with two of three back in the linebacking core. The entire secondary, and I think that is something that I think will get a lot better. Damani Jackson's a stud. Keon Saab's a stud. Bray Hubbard. If the D-line can work out, Mac, I think we might be having a pretty good defense this year. They went to the portal, brought in Kelby Collins from Florida on the D-line. They brought in Nakai Hill-Green, the starting linebacker for Colorado, who was previously a Biff Poggi Charlotte 49er. I think both those guys are going to get substantial burn. Also, cornerback Cameron Calhoun from Utah and punter Blake Dowd from Colorado School of Mines. All right. I mean, it wasn't a ton of transfers, but I feel like they're impact transfers. Do you think the defense will be better than 21st in the nation?
I do. I think year 2 of Womack's system, I think bringing, 6 starters back. I think I think their secondary is going to be really good, more continuity, and it is weird saying Alabama has some question marks up front in the trenches because under Saban we were so accustomed to them dominating that week after week. But I think that unit will come along with those guys from the portal. So I think they will take a step forward, and I think this is going to be a really good defense.
Not only with the guys with the portal, but with they had young defensive linemen, so those guys are older. And shout out to Big Bird in the chat saying Mack will probably be the starting QB. That's what I was guessing, but it's crazy. Everything I hear says Ty Simpson, but Mack being in the third year of that offense, because he was at Washington for a year, I would think would be more beneficial. But
they said Simpson is the guy right now, but
that's
but it's not official.
Yeah, we'll see in Tallahassee opening night. We'll get to that schedule in a second here. Part of state of the program. So you think the defense will put up better numbers? I think it'll be around the same. I don't know, maybe a little bit of a jump, maybe like 17th, 18th. But
yeah, I
feel like the schedule's got enough challenges where they won't be. I think the rush defense will be better. How about that? I think the rush defense will be a lot better.
Yep.
Now we do state of the program, right? And obviously all these things matter: coaching, roster, transfer portal, position coaches, stadium, fan base. Obviously, they got a fan base that'll go poison the the opposing team's trees. No, they're a great fan base, man. They really are. In all their sports: college baseball, college football, college basketball. I like Alabama fans. They've always been great to me. Mac, this is what they say is a classic. Brian Dennehy. That's what I was almost saying. Brian Dennehy. You can get a good look at a butcher's ass by sticking your head up one, but I'd rather take the bull's name for it, whatever it was. That'd have to be your bull, whatever it is, a Tommy Boy. Bryant Denny Stadium is what I'm trying to say. 96 years young. I give this thing a 9 of 10. Mainly because of the history, man. Just the amount of greats that have played in this stadium. Yeah. It's remarkable. But let's take some look at that shit right there.
Was that the Georgia game last year?
I think so. Look at that. That goddamn, like, that's like going to a foreign planet. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at that from far back, it just looks like a UFO or something. I don't know. That's a beautiful sight, man. Beautiful sight. Look at that. Look at that thing right there. With the red lights on top, it really makes it like a UFO. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty fire damn stadium, man. It's pretty fire. This is college football done right, of course.
Yeah. They do it right down there in Alabama.
Well, college football knows what the fuck they're doing. Or they know what college football, their fans know college football. There's great history. Never put a roof on that shit. And we're good. It's just a great stadium. What do you give this thing 1 to 10, man?
I think I'm going to give it a 10. It's beautiful.
Yeah, my only thing, if I'm nitpicking, because I love the stadium. Look, I love this little walkway here, and on those bricks, it's all their national championships. The only thing I would say is that they could have made it look a little more classic. They got the Bear Bryant statues. They got the Nick Saban statue. Those are fire. My only complaint would be, like, how I was like, some of the stadiums, like you look at like Notre Dame Stadium or something, and they did a good job of like preserving like that 1940s style. Yeah. And I feel like Alabama could have done that. Now, it's still amazing, so don't shit on me. I think it's like an amazing stadium, and everyone should go to a game there. But if I was nitpicking, I would say they could have just protected a little bit more of that. But it's still fire, and the history of this place is incredible. Broadway Joe played at this fucking stadium. Everybody. I mean, it's just a phenomenal stadium. So, yeah, get out to the game. So that is part of the state of the program, though. And look at the tailgate scene. Awesome fans. But yeah, part of they had great fans. Part of state of the program for me And I know that this might sound crazy because you're like 9 of 10, dude. They've won like 1,000 national championships. They should always be 10 of 10, and that would be fair. I would even entertain that argument because I think that's fair. But you just had a legend leave, and there's been some cries from the AD that I think are worth listening to. Now, granted, they're really hot on the recruiting trail right now, so maybe I'm full of shit. But I do think there's a valid point there. He was crying for money, basically saying we need to get more money or we're going to be a problem. Or it's going to be a problem in this NIL era. And that's the thing I would say, Mac, that has me have it as a 9 of 10 and not a 10 of 10, is that you just let Texas and Oklahoma in. Specifically Texas, but even Oklahoma, I don't know their state's economy well, but I know Texas has fuck you money. Texas A&M has fuck you money. I think LSU might even be sitting at a better spot financially. I don't know these things to be 100% true. I'm not working their books. But I see potentially, if you read into some of the AD's comments, I can see a little bit of, okay, that could be concerning in the future. What do you give the state of the program right now?
I might go 8. I may be a little more a negative on it just because Saban walked away at the right time. He saw the direction of the sport. He knew what was coming with the NIL, the portal, and let's call it like it is. They were able to cheat when not everybody else was cheated, and now everybody can cheat and pay players, so the playing field is even. So I probably would go 8. They're coming off their worst year since 2007. I know it is 9-3 still, but I just they're not going to dominate at the level that they'll never dominate at the level that they dominate.
I don't think anybody will. By the way,
100% agree. So yeah, I'll go 8 out of 10. They're in a solid spot. But they're not that vintage Alabama anymore.
Yeah, I think fans just turned us off, but it's okay because we tell the truth here. We try to tell the truth at least.
I love that Alabama preview. We got Texas and Georgia fans going ahead in the chat right now.
Gotta love it. Gotta love
the SEC, man.
Even Tennessee fans in there too. Come be a part of the chat. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Look, we're gonna go game by game on the Alabama schedule. And try to figure this thing out coming into the season. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the College Football Experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million in first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. So jump on over to Underdog Fantasy, sign up, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, you've heard me talk about Rhythm before. They just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think like a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm and Rhythm only. No touts, no noise, just clean data back bets, baby. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Also get your free 7-day trial period. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we are back. Got the chat talking about bucket list trips to Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. You got to get out there. Let's go. Although I do want a college football stadium named Bryant-Denny Stadium now. Rest in peace to the Tommy Boy actor there, Brian Dennehy. That sounds so damn close to Bryant. I never made that connection before this show and tonight where I stuttered saying that. And yeah. So whatever school he went to, Brian, can someone pull up the university for Brian Dennehy? They need a football stadium called Brian Dennehy Stadium. The great villain in First Blood, Rambo. Great villain there. All right, let's talk about the schedule. What are we talking about, Mac?
They got a good one week 1.
Yeah. This is fire right from the start. Boom. Alabama heading to Tallahassee, Florida to take on Saudi Arabia State. Series goes back to 1965. Florida State was fucking terrible last year. Terrible. But they did what they do every year under Mike Norvell and just go bring in a whole brand new roster in the portal. It worked one year for them. Some of the years it did not work. From like the year they lost to Jacksonville State. I know Alabama fans like that. I got to take Bama here. I don't know what the hell Florida State is, man. Yeah. They bring in Gus Malzahn, who historically I feel like has played Bama better than I thought. Like, I mean, obviously Saban was dominating that thing, but I felt like that game was always tricky. That is a little bit hilarious, like from an entertainment point of view of like, I know they bring in Castellanos, the quarterback from BC, and like 50 who quit on his team last year. He's already talking shit too. He's already talking shit to Alabama fans too. Just fantastic stuff there. Never, you gotta love the day and age where like a average Boston College quarterback is talking shit to Alabama.
I saw that. I was like, how about you just shut the fuck up and play? You quit on your damn team last year. They got better once you left.
Yeah.
Give me Bama. Give me Bama. Hey, this is the college football playoff controversy game from 2 years ago.
Yeah, Bama, like I disagree that Bama got in. Florida State should have been in. Who cares? Yeah, but Cannabis Capper saying Brian Dennehy went to Columbia and Yale, Ivy League guy. Wow. Okay. If say Columbia, I believe their stadium, if memory serves me correct, I believe it's like Robert Kraft Field at like the Wayne Stadium or something like that in Manhattan. Let's get rid of the Kraft thing. All right. You got that rub and tug in Florida. All right. Let's go Brian Dennehy Stadium. All right. Let's do it. Brian Dennehy Stadium in the Ivy League. They're going to, and by the way, the Ivy League, part of the FCS playoffs this year. Very excited about that. I got to 1-0 though, Mac. Back to the Alabama Saudi Arabia State game. I got Alabama 1-0. What do you got them?
Yeah, I got Bama getting off to a nice start. I'm looking forward to this atmosphere though, because Florida State fans fucking do it right as well. That place is good. They're gonna be chopping like hell.
Oh yeah. I have a video of my dog Muddy Waters relieving himself outside of why am I drawing a blank on Florida State Stadium right name? Their awesome stadium why am I drawing a blank on their stadium name?
Why am I drawing a blank? Campbell Stadium.
Doak Campbell. Yeah. Yeah.
Doak Campbell.
The choke at the Doak. Remember? And by the way, Brian Dennehy, shout out to him. He played football at Columbia. May he rest in peace. So both got us at 1-0. Fascinating game though. Week 2, ULM comes to town.
Oh God.
ULM got him 1 year. This ULM's trying to even the series, man.
Save his first year, right?
Yeah, ULM got him 1 year. I can't remember if Saban's first year was ULM or Louisiana. It was ULM, right? It was ULM.
Yeah. Saban's first year, they lost 21-14 in that bullshit SEC bye game at the end.
So 2-0. I got him 2-0. How about you?
Yeah, 2-0. Sorry, Brian Vincent.
Reese in the chat said Bama lay 39, lay 39. I mean, look, I'll be honest, guys. I kind of love Florida State being horrible. When they went 2-10, I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. They finished the first ever 17th place team in the ACC.
Oh, and then like when you add that on to like the fact they were coming off of an undefeated, they got snubbed for the playoffs. And I genuinely thought they should have been in the playoffs, but I do think it's just hilarious to that fan base because for years in the 90s they were assholes. Like Bobby Bowden had that famous quote. It was like, "Why are you running up the score in Prairie View?" And he's like, "In track, do you slow up at the end of a race? No, you go full speed." Right? So it's like, to me, this is all karma. This is karma right here.
Even fucking Spurrier, they were always good at fuck this, running up them scores.
Yeah. So 2-0. Look at the old logo. Shout out to the old logo. Alabama, such rich history there in Tuscaloosa. Week 3, Luke Fickell and Wisconsin come to town. The series goes back to 1928, surprisingly. Look, I think I'm one of the only podcasts that was a skeptic of the Fickle hire from the start. I feel like every other one I listened to said it was like best hire. I was like, no, I don't like this shit, and I don't think it's going to work out for him. I think he's going to get fired this year. So I'm all over Bama here, 3-0.
Yeah, Bama's going to roll them. They rolled them last year in Madison. Now the game's in T-Town, Tuscaloosa. Ugh. Yeah, this
luck.
is a bloodbath.
Yeah, 3-0. Then I got a bye week. Shout out to some of the great players that played with the Tide. Cornelius Bennett and Derek Thomas played there at the same time. Unbelievable. Like two of the best linebackers, two like the top.
They've had so many good players.
I know. Unbelievable. They come out of the bye week and they head to Athens, Georgia. Between the Hedges series goes back to 1895. Last year's game was incredible. What a crazy game. That I honestly think if you had to say what was game of the year last year, you'd be hard pressed not to say Alabama, Georgia. The way that the momentum swings in that game were insane. Absolutely insane. This is where I give Kirby his first dub here. They revenge from last year, not Kirby his first dub, but you know what I mean. Their first loss, Kalen's first loss. So I have Georgia winning this game, but I do think this is gonna be a crazy game. This is one of the games of the year right here. But give me the Dogs to get it done there at home. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I Georgia's lost 9 out of 10 against Alabama. But I think the Tide's gonna swing here. I think Georgia gets their revenge. I think Kirby's gonna have both teams off a bye. Revenge for the Dogs. That better be a night game. It is a night game. Good. That place is on fire.
I can't wait.
God,
I can't wait to watch that game. Come out of that game, and they got to make sure they don't get pissed on 2 times in a row by Vanderbilt, because Diego pissing Pavia lifted up his leg and just went all across Kane Womack's face and all the entire defensive line, really, for the whole defense, really. I don't believe Vanderbilt did they ever trail in that game? I can't remember.
No.
Series goes back to 1903. I will take Alabama to get revenge, but don't sleep on my guy Diego Pavia. That was my number 1 lock last season. Was the over on Vanderbilt, and I took the money line against Virginia Tech week 1. They were a darling, dude. I took them with the points. I didn't have the courage to take the money line last year against Alabama, but I took the points on a major wager, and I just hope this is tough. The last year was in Nashville. You got to go to T-Town, like you said. What are you doing here?
Yeah, sorry, Vandy. This is going to be revenge for Alabama.
Yeah, trick or treat saying Pavia pissed off the AD. And by the way, the AD can also fuck off with his anti-storm the field shit or storm the court. Shut up. You go to college, you pay like $40,000 for whatever your university is. You pay $20,000, whatever the enrollment is. Right? Your books they sell you are a complete ripoff. So God forbid you think, hey, for a minute, let's storm the field and have some fun. We'll remember it for the rest of our life. That should always happen in college sports. Super fuck you to the Bama AD here. After the Vandy game, they go to Columbia, Missouri to take on Mizzou. Sneaky spot. I'm just not a big believer Missouri's that good, but I will say this. Missouri is good always for an upset at Faro Field there. So that is very possible. But I will take Alabama to win this game.
Yeah, I'm a skeptic on it. Missouri doesn't beat any of the good teams. So, yeah, I'll take Alabama to get it done. It is a unique trip there to Columbia, though.
Yeah. What's the date on that? October 11th. So it's not going to be that cold because Columbia is like sneaky cold spot in SEC country in like
October
November.
11th. So not cold yet.
Yeah, so look, I still got them at 1 loss. Then they jump out of there and the Vols come to town.
Cigar game.
Yeah, classic rivalry here. 3rd Saturday in October. Series goes back to 1901. I'm not very high on Tennessee this year. I think Alabama cruises. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I want Tennessee to be good just because of how they stood up to Nico, but I think Alabama gets their revenge after dropping the game last year in Knoxville.
Then after Knoxville, they have a trip to Columbia, South Carolina. South Carolina, man, they almost knocked off Alabama last year.
Williams-Brice.
Series goes back to 1937. My thing is, South Carolina lost so many people on defense. I just don't know their defense will be that good. I'm on Bama. What are you doing here?
Yeah, this is remember Saban once upon a time went into Williams-Brice and took an L.
That's one of the tougher stadiums like that. That is like secret lit.
Yeah.
That's a very great stadium, but still I think South Carolina is a little overrated this year, in my opinion.
But they're good in October every year. Cocktober is what they call it. Give me the Gamecocks. Pull the upset Beamer ball down there. This is a tough spot because this is what their 6th game in 6 weeks.
That's true.
And then you gotta go to Columbia. Tough. I mean, that's a hornet's nest. Yeah, give me the Gamecocks. Loss number 2 for Alabama.
All right, then we got a bye week. Look at fucking Bear Bright there. You got Broadway Joe, Orange Bowl MVP of 65. Who could forget? Right out of the bye week. Oh man.
Oh, I love this game.
This game is great every year.
Yep. Last year was a blowout.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, there's been a few blowouts. Saban one time against Orgeron. When did they drop like 55 on him? Series goes back to 1895. LSU at Alabama. Brian Kelly and his family are going to be there. I got Bama, dude.
I got Bama too.
Yeah.
I don't trust Brian Kelly in these big games. Give me DeBoer. Roll Tide.
Yeah. Then after that, Oklahoma comes to town. Oklahoma ruined their season a year ago. The real reason why they didn't make the playoffs, and in my opinion, shouldn't have. Will Venables be coaching this game? This series goes back to 1963, by the way, but this is in Tuscaloosa. Well, is Brent Venables going to be the head coach at this point in the season? I think that's a gamble if you're taking Oklahoma. Because I think Oklahoma, if everything hits, they're capable of winning this game, but also they like it could go completely the other direction where you got an interim head coach and the team's quit. I'll take Bama.
I'll take Bama too. This is revenge. After getting humiliated last year by them to knock them out of the playoffs. So yeah, I'll take Alabama.
Then the classic matchup against Eastern Illinois. That's the first time ever to be played. Tony Romo somehow finagled his way into this episode. His alma mater. This game is terrible. No comment. No comment. Stop playing these games in November. Right?
Beat the SEC when they do this shit.
I mean, at least play like a regional one. Like if you're going to play the FCS, like, okay, play North Alabama or something. Eastern Illinois? How did this even, I want to know, like they need to make a 30 for 30 on how this even came to fruition. You telling me Alabama's AD picked up the phone and called Eastern Illinois? Why? How? What was the connection? I want to know. All right. Yeah, this game's stupid, but it's a lead up to one of the best rivalries in all of college football, the Iron Bowl. U Strip Club Freeze and Auburn. Whenever it's at Jordan Hare, it's tricky, man. Which is why. Now, actually, I should ask this: was Hugh Freeze going to be the coach by this point in the season?
It's a great question.
It's a valid question. This series goes back to 1893. It is the epitome of great college football. Cover your ears, Roll Tide fans. But I got Auburn winning this game and going 10. If Hugh Freeze has not got fired, now that's the only thing I'll say. And I don't think he will be, but there's potential for that to happen. I got Bama at 10-2. I got Bama at 10-2, but I also think this could be a blessing in disguise, Alabama fans. I know it's never a blessing in disguise to lose the Iron Bowl.
Ugh.
What I'm saying is that there might be a world where you could actually benefit from this and not have to play the championship game and still host a playoff game. Imagine if Texas goes 10-2. Imagine if Georgia goes 10-2. I don't think that's very far-fetched to say those things. Georgia, by beating Alabama, would have the tiebreaker. Alabama and Texas don't play each other, right? And Texas, one of their losses could be to Ohio State in the non-con. So you could have a scenario where Alabama, and I think that's kind of the blueprint in the future, is I don't know that you want to win your conference championship. I know you want to get I mean, for this next year, we have the 12 team, and then they're talking about 16. But I almost think getting the home playoff game and bringing like $40 million into your town is more important. And I don't like a bye week, personally. I don't. I think, look at Ohio State. They played in the play-in game last year. They rolled. I think Alabama might want that scenario. But anyway, what are you doing in this game?
I was just looking at the history of this. I mean, this was a kind of a house of horrors for Saban. He lost 3 out of 4, and then the last 2 times that they won,
4th and 26.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, and then Colby, go back to 2021 when they beat him in 4 overtimes.
Yeah.
So like this, Hugh Freeze is 0-2. I kind of think Freeze is going to get him. Like,
I just see another loss on the schedule. Like, if I'm being honest, if Hugh Freeze is fired by now, Alabama is going to roll him. But when I look at the schedule and I see the win total there, I'm like, okay, I got the Georgia game as like the only one I feel pretty good that they're going to lose. But they could lose to LSU. They could lose at Williams-Brice. It's possible they lose in Columbia, Missouri, or the Iron Bowl, or maybe even Florida State if Florida State is somehow much better than I think. But I'm on the over, man. And I'll be honest, I think he's going to have a solid year where I think the Alabama fans are going to sit back and say, oh, wait, okay, maybe he's not. Year 1 was panic. He's actually a good football coach. I like them at plus 480 to win the SEC too. Because what happens if, like I said, what happens if it's some crazy tiebreaker and they were able to get in the SEC championship? Well, then you want to win and get the first round bye. But I think it's worth it. Minus 160 to make the CFP. Believe it or not, I mean, I don't like laying that much, but if you could find anything else, like, I think they're probably going to be in the playoffs this year, dude. I kind of like the team. I kind of like the schedule, the way it aligns. I think they're going to be a playoff team this year. So, yeah, give me the over. What are you doing?
You know what? I'm going to say they beat Auburn. The more and more, I'm going to say they split that South Carolina Auburn, those 2 road games. I think they're a 7-point favorite in both of them. I think they drop one of those. I got 10-2 as well. And I think they get back to the playoffs and everybody can breathe a little bit in Tuscaloosa. Yeah.
And look, maybe they beat Auburn, but they lose to South Carolina or Missouri or something. I just feel like when I was going through this exercise, I was like, if Hugh Freeze is there, I could see him knocking him off. If he's fired, though, but I think they'd want to keep him for the whole year. I don't know.
I think Freeze will. I think Freeze will be there.
I think he'll be there too. The schedule kind of breaks nice for Auburn. Cover your ears, Alabama fans, but don't worry, they're not SEC championship contenders. All right, at least I don't think so. The schedule does break kind of nice for them.
Yeah. I like the schedule.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Go look at this thing. It's a nice schedule.
Yeah.
The fact you don't have to go to Neyland, the fact you don't have to go to Tiger Stadium, the fact you don't have to go to Oklahoma Memorial. Yes, Jordan Hare's always a house of horrors, right? But Athens, okay, brutal. But you have had their number. And a lot of those games were in Atlanta. So you've gone into the state of Georgia and beat them over the years. It's a nice schedule. I think it's got its challenges. It's a tough schedule, but it's still nice. The way, to me, the road games align. What? Auburn had a losing record last year, right? South Carolina did have a winning record, but they lost a lot of production on defense. I mean, I guess Mizzou they were a phony ass team though.
They never beat anybody worth
Yeah.
Just pat up on the bad teams.
Yeah. Shout out to Penn State Sports Talk. Penn State Sports Talk, you want that, buddy? That's going to be tomorrow because we will be talking Penn State Nittany Lions tomorrow. That is we're trying to knock off the triple header again tomorrow. And if so, that would be the Appalachian State Mountaineers, the Penn State Nittany Lions. Those 2 are going to happen no matter what, but we're going for the triple header. And if there's a third team, it would be the Ohio State Buckeyes. So tune in tomorrow night when we preview all 3 of those teams. We're previewing all 136, but we put them all in a randomizer. And those are the next 3 that we got. So buckle up, folks. Mac, do you, besides the win total, do you like that plus 480 to win the SEC?
I don't think. I wish it was a better price, because Georgia's schedule is phenomenal.
Perfect. I agree.
They're going to be in Atlanta.
Kirby Smart did all that bitching.
Yeah.
Remember that in the middle of the Texas game? Or not in the middle. I think at the end of the Texas game, he's like, they put us on the road every week. Right? Anytime you got, it's like a politician, right? What the SEC do? They were listening, man. Yeah. They were listening. They're like, okay.
3 road games this year.
Yeah. I was like, relax, buddy. I mean, like, your schedule was hard, but come on, dude. You played how many neutral site games in Atlanta over the years? Yeah. SEC championships and opening day, Labor Day games.
And Georgia Tech's in Atlanta now. It's like,
yeah. Stop it, Kirby. But it worked for him. That's what you got to do. All these coaches should be doing that. I don't care if you interview UTEP's head coach, Scotty Walden. I'd be like, well, the conference USA is fucking me left and right. And next year they might get a better schedule. You got to do it.
Do you think they have upside to win the national championship? Do you think they're good enough? I don't know if they're good enough at the quarterback.
Well, to me, Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have a history together that I think it's worth a shot. Like, I know that's kind of the question going on throughout college football in general right now. Notre Dame's going to be starting a freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
Ohio State, a guy that's never started a game before, the former Alabama kid, right? Julian Sayin, right? Alabama, what's going on in Georgia? Right, Arch Manning. We never seen him really start against top quality competition before, right? So it's like Dylan Gabriel's done with his 34 years of college. It's Dante Moore's era at Oregon, right? You go 1-for-1. Where's the experienced quarterback play to win the Natty? It's what, Penn State, who's had their issues in every big game.
Yep.
It's Miami, which has had every issues. They can't even down the ball correctly, right? Where else do you turn? Michigan's got quarterback issues too. I mean, they're gonna probably be starting a freshman.
Yeah.
So,
we just did the Texas preview, and the Texas Ohio State discussion was, unproven at the quarterback position, a lot of moving pieces. Yeah, I mean that's the theme this year.
So that's why I would sprinkle it as plus 1,100 to win the Natty.
Yep. I like that. 11-1 to win it.
Parlay P says first-year OCs can be tricky. That's true, but some of those guys are Washington guys that were with Grubb. Like Austin Mack and Bernard were with Grubb. They might have another guy too, I think, in Seattle. But yeah, I think it's worth sprinkling that plus 1,100 to win the Natty. All right, folks, that's our show. We have a slideshow, though, right here. We like to honor the history of college football. Alabama's, you can't tell the story of the sport of football without the Alabama Crimson Tide. So loved putting together the slideshow. Always loved Alabama's uniforms, man. And logos, fire. All that, fire. Stadium, fire. We will be back tomorrow night. Appalachian State, Penn State, and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Till next time, folks, this is the college football experience. Roll Tide style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Mailbox 1. Yeah, 7. Listen. 1.
I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart my body and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun my body and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo my body and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. We're the obsession to be a part of that, started that. Mind over matter don't matter in the market. I've seen much smarter cats have heart attacks. Larger cause leaders need lambs to be lethargic. Match wits with the half-wit phantom. I don't need jumper cables or mic cords to analyze an analytical anthem. Between my two ears, an engine pumping the life force. Force field for your grip on the grievance. Still gonna feel unchallenged, your board stiff. So arrange the pieces to appear cohesive. All the hard work will go largely ignored if your hands are covered with post-its and paper cuts. You need to have your voice in the vice grip. The one who made it famous ain't the one who made it up. You don't get overtime just for working the night shift.
I'm taking a pitch right now. It's like
I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart mind, body, and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun mind, body, and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo mind, body, and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. Every time I close my eyes, I'm taken to the same place, a playing field, and every contestant's got the game face. Everybody's yelling, you ought to play it safe. Make sure them shoes are tied and ankles taped. Shake the cobweb and hit the ground running. This is how cunning I can get with the footwork. You're doing it right, well, it shouldn't hurt. Flirt with greatness, still outrun the famous. Nice high heels, I got mics for spikes. Trampling the home team and the turf for life. For the few fleet of foot, too fast for me. I fear none, cause I run and ignore the pin. Of feet by the tree that are fast asleep. In love with the game, you adore the head. I believe in achievement. My soul isn't rewarded just cause it's easy goal and moves toward it. I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart mind, body, and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun mind, body, and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo mind, body, and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're nothing without yourself. Conspiracy theories, gotta love them clearly. Nothing's more entertaining than entertaining a query. Just the words of the wise and the weary. Recognize the authors of reality and theory. Theoretically, I could have won Scribble Jam. In reality, I lost to a legend. Theoretically, I'm best friends with Uncle Sam. In reality, I've never even met him. Now, one day my potential may become reputation. Until then, I'm still a work in progress. I suggest you question what I'm saying. If anything, to become familiar with the process. My agenda may suit your needs. When I say your Bill of Rights has been ripped to shreds, but if it defends what you believe, hold dear to your truths and scream fuck seeds. I'm not saying I'm impossible to outsmart mind, body, and soul, or nothing without heart. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outrun mind, body, and soul, or nothing without love. And I'm not saying I'm impossible to outdo mind, body, and soul, or nothing without truth. And I'm not saying it's impossible.